Da skal jeg si velkommen til dagens to gjester, og så får jeg bytte til engelsk, som vi gjorde I går. Because we were talking AI yesterday too. Paula Doyle, Chief Digitalization Officer in Aker BP, and Stein Danielsen, one of the founders of Cognite, along with Jon Markus Levik. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
And welcome back. Last time you were here, we had to check the archives.
Yeah.
December 23,
Yes.
Aker BP was one of the first companies in Norway who were rolled into Microsoft's then fairly new system Copilot for AI.
Yes, we were.
We're going to get to the whole industrial use of AI,
Yeah.
but should we start there? We were talking back then about transcribing meetings, and the AI would then give you a summary.
Yeah.
It got a little confused by when people talk Norwegian and English in the same meeting back then. How advanced have these systems gotten over the past almost 2 years now?
It's gotten a ton better, and it's so fun to be on that journey where something just comes out and it's a little bit kind of clunky and moving towards kind of like it's getting better and better, and you can almost see it before your eyes. So now we've rolled it out to all employees in Aker BP, and we have one of the best adoption rates in the world. So we're really proud of that. So it's really being used. One of the cool things I have, I don't know if I told you this actually, but I now have real-time interpretation in my meetings. So when I sit in a Teams meeting and somebody speaks Norwegian, I have the AI translating for me into English in their voice. Totally sci-fi, in the office,
and
on
is
my
it
laptop.
accurate?
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
really, really good.
Because what I find, like we talked about before you guys were on, when I use it, at least for financial stuff, these AI systems, and it's not just one of them. I've tried a lot of them. They, way too often, they give me wrong answers, wrong numbers, shamelessly, because they don't tell me they're unsure. They just give me a number, whether it's I ask about some company's financial records,
Yeah.
or some market data points sometime back in history. It'll give me a number. Way too often, they're not correct. But what I have seen is Gmail, Microsoft competitor, rolling out also more and more advanced features, summarizing emails, sort of assisting people in writing.
Yeah.
And that seems to make people more productive. What do you use it for, like, on the office side of things, if we start there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I use it every day.
Yeah.
So I use it for sure, prioritizing my inbox, summarizing emails, drafting responses, getting summaries of documents, transcription of meeting notes. One of the wonderful things I like, I've often said like, oh, if I could just triplicate or quadruplicate myself, I would go to these different things. And now I can, because I just send in my Copilot. It's there, it's listening. I get all the info. It's pretty cool, actually. But to your point, it's really, and we don't talk about this, but it's all about the data, right? So like when it's working on a kind of a fixed data set, or what's been spoken or what's been said, then it's much more accurate than if it's
more contained.
Exactly, than just feeding off the kind of body of rubbish that's on the internet.
Is that your experience too? Because
Absolutely.
If we rewind, for people who don't know Cognite, it's a company you were one of the founders of, trying to, I guess, build systems using data to optimize production at oil field power plants. You have, big power companies, oil companies, industrial companies as customers.
Absolutely.
But how has it changed from, I remember back at the ONS, the oil conference in Stavanger, you guys were showing off how the Ivar Aasen field sort of got optimized by these systems.
Yeah.
How is AI changing that from what you used to have with just crunching numbers and optimizing production?
I think we're getting to now where I was dreaming we can get to. Because we were very naive and we came in with lots of AI expertise into industry, and we thought we just apply AI to industry.
Yeah.
So Cognite should be AI for industry. But then we had to get hold of the data first. And so we spent a lot of years trying to get all the data, all the current state of these industrial facilities, and get control of that. And then ChatGPT came along, and then this was like Christmas Eve for us, because we had all the state of the industrial site, and now we had a tool to just be able to ask a natural language question to that. So this match of, like you said, the contained data, highly curated, very good quality, exactly everything about the site, together with an AI model that you can talk to in any language, is a fantastic match. So I feel that what we built now in Cognite is AI for industry.
And is that what's being rolled out now? These, I guess, agents they call them. Is that a sort of assistant that you have a conversation with, you chat with it, ask it questions about, like in Paula's case, wells and compressors at platforms and maintenance issues and.
Absolutely. So Paula can detail these cases, but we just say, do my job for me. Like, find the root cause of this. Help me set up an inspection program. You just tell it to do your job, and then it comes up with these plans to do the job. And it has access to all this information and can do all these kinds of analysis, even run simulators, and you can do everything. So, and like you said, we work with now more than 130 different largest companies in the world. We have always been very heavy in oil and gas, and we have every single super major almost on our customer list, but we're also expanding into other verticals as well. So now we are also powering renewables, also the largest companies there, with chemicals, Celanese and lots of other companies. And also we rolled out to manufacturing, discrete and process manufacturing, very large companies. And this year we roll out to pharma as well. And now we have almost every single large pharma company on our customer list as well. And many thanks to AI for these companies, because it just applies everywhere.
So not only will we heat our homes with the help of AI, but get our Ozempic as well, maybe.
Absolutely.
But Paula, talk about as a company, because you're rolling out now the Cognite Atlas AI, they call it. But do you use these systems? One thing is optimizing existing production, which, I mean, these are advanced facilities with lots of moving parts. But do you use it also in like exploration, looking at geological data?
Yeah, we're using AI across the board, so there's not a single business unit in Aker BP that isn't using AI. And I think what's really, really interesting, and I'd like to talk about it a little bit, because you just touched on it, Stein, was the root cause analysis case.
Yeah.
So root cause analysis is something we do very frequently in industry. So a piece of equipment fails, and then you try to figure out what exactly caused that failure. And this is where we started with Atlas AI, and it's just like an incredible story, because when we tried it first, we were like, okay, we'll test it out, see how it goes. And what we actually saw was that we could get efficiency in some of the branches of 96%. Like genuinely 96%. So it's kind of, for me, I've worked in technology for decades now. This one just keeps pleasantly surprising me. So now we're rolling this out across the board. We've had the subject matter experts involved. They're super engaged. Everyone's really excited about it. So what we can do now with our industrial data, with Atlas AI on top, it's just phenomenal. So this is very much a part of our AI first strategy.
But these models, they have a sort of built-in confidence in them, right? They very rarely acknowledge any mistakes or uncertainties.
Yeah.
Like I said, obviously, if you search the whole World Wide Web, you get a lot of answers.
Yeah.
But even if you box in the data like you do with one facility or a set of facilities like they have in Aker BP, how do you make sure they don't suggest the solution that could potentially trigger a whole system malfunction or something, an explosion or something at one of these facilities?
So there's lots of different ways to work around that. So first off, we only have it work on the data that we know is facts. So it can't really come up with anything outside of that. Second, there is always like a domain expert in the loop. Like, this is a tool for him or her. So they can be much more efficient, and they don't have to do the legwork. Like, they don't have to capture all this information from all these different systems. That's already in Cognite, and they could just ask natural language questions. So this is a key thing for domain experts, because they don't know programming and they don't know AI, but they could just ask this question. And then whenever you get the results, it has references always. You say you can increase the pressure because the max pressure of the system is that. Go here, you can see this in the data sheet, exactly where that is specified. So there's nothing that you say which you can't also verify.
When we hear AI, we often also hear about large investments, right? Especially from the big hyperscalers. But talk about how Aker BP has to sort of invest in the infrastructure. One thing is buying the software.
Yep.
But you have new fields like Yggdrasil, which is coming up, and you just made a big discovery this week. But you also have older fields like Valhall, Skydive, which were obviously conceived way before we even had the internet, I think, right?
Yeah, right. True.
Do you have to roll out fiber, 5G, a lot of sort of ground infrastructure? And connect all these different sensors, or exchange them for ones that can be connected to the outside world?
I think we're really fortunate in this sense. So we have connectivity on all of our platforms, but we've also been working with Cognite for quite a while. So in the same way that it was Christmas Eve for Cognite when this kind of blew up, it also was for us, because we had made the investments on infrastructure, on the data foundation in Cognite Data Fusion. So we were AI ready. So it was just a real box of treats for us to be able
You've
to...
had to do a lot of upgrades and infrastructure investments before.
But it's already been done as part of other
Right.
things, like as part of, having control rooms on shore, on parts of like getting data to shore for analysis. So it was already there. So it wasn't done specifically for AI. Now we're just able to build on top of what we've already had in place, which is great. And of course, our fields are very highly sensorized as well. So we have a lot of data.
If you get a customer, whether it's Aker or someone else, what are the sort of prerequisites that need to be in place to be able to use this? I saw Hydro now enter a contract with Telenor to have a private 5G networks at a lot of their facilities in Norway.
Yep.
I saw Tampnet building for your competitor or their competitor Vår Energi a 5G private network offshore at Jotun that was just renovated.
Yep.
Do you need to have fiber and sort of server farms and all these things very close to these facilities in order to make this work efficiently?
So of course we would prefer that,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily required. So I think maybe the only thing that's required is a willingness to change and try something else. So a willingness to start to try to optimize processes, and this goes from the top to the bottom.
Have you been, I guess, I don't know if you've been following the discussion that we see sort of globally now with, are we getting returns on these big investments? Is that a big discussion going on internally?
Yeah, it is. But I think for us, a challenge kind of when you just look at P&L, like in a short-term period, you're not actually capturing the value of the organizational knowledge. Like we're all in. We firmly believe that this is going to transform the way that we work and also transform who does the work. But to get there, it's the organization that we need to move, right? The technology moves much quicker than kind of the organization does. So in some ways, I think we don't put the right value on that, right? So like just learning, even making mistakes and stuff, that is all so much valuable. And that means that the next one you do is quicker, it's better, the one after that, again, and you start this flywheel. But yeah, I know absolutely we have to deliver value on it though.
But how do you go about that internally in an organization when I guess you have to go and ask someone for, can I spend X dollars on this, right? And often you get the question back, okay, what do we get in return for it? Is it difficult to quantify?
Well, I think the challenge with...
Sort of expense payback?
I think the challenge with being very precise on... So it's different areas. So some of the cases are actually quite easy to quantify. Others are trickier because we don't know what we don't know. So of course you can put a business case together, but that... like there's so many unknowns in it that it's difficult to tell. So we just have to gauge it along the way as we run. What we're doing though is we're accelerating these projects. So we're really kind of boosting behind so that we can run through all the steps to actually understand where is it we fail. And typically it's not the technology, it's other things, right? Because you have this incredibly fast moving technology and huge potential coming up against a known way of doing things, right? So that's kind of that's the fun part, actually. Like you said, this willingness to change. And we're lucky in Aker BP, we have a lot of willingness to change. So there's a lot of support for what we're doing here. And we're really like getting into the core of the business.
But is it easier to look at a sort of facilities optimization program and say, if we deploy this system, we'll increase uptime from 96 to 98 compared to all your colleagues getting a little more productive because they have a new system, for their email and meetings, right?
That's very, so there's
because that seems less sort
of proxies for that value, but it's very difficult to see it on the bottom line. But things that we're seeing, is like, it's project compression time, right? So that we can do project execution faster, like early stage concept select, compressing that by using AI, production optimization, so increasing the throughput by using AI. These things are much more quantifiable, like increasing tool time, reducing maintenance costs, reducing shutdowns, of course. All of these things are much more tangible and valuable, and that's why it's so great to move it from the office into the field.
Yes.
But of course, to do that, we needed what you guys have done, which is a grounded fact base that we can build the models on.
But are you noticing a change in mentality amongst top management in companies when everyone talks about AI in society in general, and then it's easier to get management to be able to look at these investments?
I think it trickles down from the board saying you have to do something, leadership saying you have to do something, and then they have to do something. So we see this. We have deployed AI solutions now across the world. Like I have customers everywhere, so we can see also that we always want to measure the value returns. So we see something like 25 to 40% benefit of running these systems towards whatever your goal was, production optimization or something like that. So this is very much in contrast to, let's say, reports that we've seen that a lot of AI projects fail, because we see that a lot of the things that we do are not failing. But I think they always sort of working with the value and always is good, but also you can't estimate the value of the change. And also, like, if you have a comparison, like, most children will fall when they try to walk, but you don't say, like, oh, no, I don't think you should try to walk. It's not for you. You know, you feel that it's good, right? So you try that and you don't give up. You look maybe at somebody that makes it and you try to copy.
We see a lot of cost-cutting or these efficiency programs at big companies like Statkraft, Ørsted, but also in the oil industry. I mean, $60-some-odd a barrel is not like a full party.
Exactly.
It's okay, but it's not a full party like $80 or $90 a barrel. Are you noticing that giving a pushback on these investments as well, or?
Not on the investments, but definitely in the companies.
Yeah.
But what we see is that hired resources, contractors, they are the ones that are pushed out.
Under pressure, yeah.
So not the regular staff. They're just more efficient and they can do much more of the work that was previously contractors. Yeah.
I want to finish off with what's happening sort of around you in Norway, because Aker and Scale are building a data center now in Narvik, where OpenAI looks like it's going to be a customer. Are you affected by this sort of in your cooperation, or is this a sort of project that's happening on the side in Aker that you sort of observe?
Oh, it's super, super exciting. I think, like, for Aker, for N-Scale, for OpenAI, NVIDIA, and also for Norway. I think it's really, really cool. So I guess the question is, how can we really kind of maximize this partnership, like in Norway, but also ourselves? So I think for us, it's just really about exploring if there's ways to kind of bridge partnerships with like OpenAI and NVIDIA, for example.
Yeah, I think also, to me, I also, like you, work with AI all the time, like 100% of the time. And when you do that, you get the fear of losing it. And so by having a regional sovereign data center with the same technology stack, this sort of gives me breathing room. You know, we can run Aker BP even though somebody would decide the US is not to export any AI compute anymore. So having a large sovereign data center is fantastic for the safety of compute resources. Second, it is opening a lot of doors for us. So I think, very proud of being a Norwegian, building a software company in AI. And this also opens up for ways for us to build AI models that are industrial models. So again, we can be AI much more.
But do either of you feel like constrained by the availability of compute power?
No.
So far, no?
Not us, anyway.
Not at the moment, but you see that if, let's say, you needed to use it for instance, defense or those type of things, then it could potentially come up in a squeeze where you get, and I think also maybe now 82% of all companies we know will start using AI, and most of them haven't yet, so this will be a big demand.
Interesting times, Stein Danielsen and Paula Doyle in Aker BP and Cognite. Thank you so much.
For å se mer, klikk deg inn på FA.no/TV, eller se oss på storskjerm når du vil ved å søke opp Finansavisen på din Apple TV.